Welcome to a pre-modern Pox League. I've got a good one for you today. Not a 5-0, unfortunately, but we win a reasonable number of matches, I think, and I had a lot of fun. So this is the league you got for this week. I'm playing Pit Rack Pox version 2.3. You can check the Mox field if you want the deck list. It's the same, maybe exactly the same, or at least very similar to the one I played last week. So I don't know how much of a deck tech I'm supposed to be doing. Nothing crazy here, same as last week, but hopefully there's some new watchers, listeners. But there's not too much to talk about. It's your basic pit rack list, mono black, no dark ritual, no hypnotic specter, just the good cards, lots of discard, lots of removal, and some pox to top it off. 3 pox, 3 pit is where you want to be for a card that you don't want in your opening hand, but you definitely want it at some point. I'm happy with the lands. Went down to 23, so this is the 4 factory, 2 wasteland version. And I'm very happy with the 2 main deck furnaces. The sideboard, I'm up to 4 dystopias because dystopia is really the only thing you have going for you versus all the green enchantments in the meta. Oath of Druids, Survival of the Fittest, Sylvan Library, and anything out of Enchantress. You kind of need Dystopia. So we got 4 of them. Otherwise, it's a big pile of creature removal and graveyard hate. And 2 bottle gnomes to top it off because there's a lot of sly in the meta and other things like goblins. Otherwise, same list, although it should be clearer. I had some comments last week that you couldn't really see the text of the cards. Figured out the problem. It was OBS, the screen recording software, the default settings, not that great. So cleared that up, and hopefully it looks better. Let me know. And the other thing I'm working on this week is a sideboard guide. The other thing I'm working on this week is a sideboard guide. And here it is. Pretty basic in and out kind of stuff. It's not quite done now, but I'll fix it before the video goes out. And some people were asking questions about what the sideboard, and here you go. Link in the description. By link, I mean you might have to copy paste it. I have not been able to actually link in the YouTube description. Don't know why. YouTube is being difficult about that. Nothing I can really do to fix it. You could subscribe. That might fix it. And if I have more subscribers, it'll look like a real channel. And then I can do the things that real channels do. Otherwise, enjoy the rounds. 5, maybe 6 rounds. I did record another game that was just a lot of fun and pretty cool. It's not in this league, though. Maybe I'll just throw it at the end and speed it up or something, like a little post-credits scene. So stick around for that and enjoy the rounds. And here we are at round 1. We win the die roll. Yes, please. Throw this hand back. No, thank you. Yes, this is fine. Good. Pretty great. Gotta put back the pox because we're pretty far away from casting that. But we got the duress to make sure nothing terrible happens. And then we got the pit rack combo. All right. Opponent's on some sort of rocky thing. Annoyingly, they have duress and naturalize, which both answer the cards in my hand. I can only take one. So I think it's got to be duress. We can try to take the naturalize later, maybe. We draw another discard spell before they cast it. Or at the very least, it'll cost them 2 mana instead of 1. They have 2 vendettas in their hand, so that's good. 2 useless piece of cards. But they do have a Tempting Worm, which we are currently unable to deal with, but they don't know that. Well, we drew rats, so we'll play rats. Of course, they can just discard a vendetta, so I mean, it kind of takes away. Like, those cards were already discarded, right? Kind of. I don't know. So here, they can play the Tempting Worm. Annoyingly, we don't really want to put in the pit exactly, but they don't. They play Cabal Therapy. Don't think they're going to name the cards in our hand. I guess they could name the rack, maybe. They name Hypnotic Spectre. We don't have one. Not even in our whole 75. Okay. All right, we draw the Swamp. Could play Pit here. I decided to play the rack. Unfortunately, I decided that after I attacked, so I kind of forgot to deal 2 damage here. It's okay. Tighten up. No big deal. I still think it's the right play. It's important not to, do the bad play just because you already kind of committed to it. So I figured out the rack is a better play, so I'm just going to play the rack. Don't really want to discard Wasteland, to be honest, but I definitely don't want the pit to discard the rack. So now they can play the Tempting Worm. And still, I don't want to put in the pit, because I figure I can just cast pit next turn, and if I draw a 1-drop, then, or land, then, I'm not going to discard anything. And not that 1-drop, but that 1-drop is pretty good, because look, now we can get rid of that Naturalize. And they go from 2 cards to 1 card in hand, which is pretty relevant, because the rack's in play. We just have to figure out this worm, and we're home free. We could almost race it. I mean, if we keep drawing creatures, maybe. If the top 3 cards of our library are Ravenous Rats, then I think we'll win. That's all I'm saying. Opponent's drawing an extra card here, so they take less damage from the rack. Fine. They attack. I'm not going to block yet. I'm going to wait until I have to. Okay, now we draw the land, so I'll play in the Bottomless Pit. And I could attack with Factory here, but because they have some cards in their hand and I didn't play anything last turn and I've got a pit going, I want to make sure if there's anything good, they're less able to cast it. So I chose Wasteland over damage. They discard Duress. They have a Furnace, which is fine. I don't really care about that, although it does represent an extra card in the hand. We just need to draw some action here. We draw another pit. Not the best action, but they do have 2 cards in their hand, so getting both of them now seems fine. I'm going to hold the rats back. I don't want to go to 5 life, so now's a great time to start blocking. Opponent chooses to draw a card with Furnace here, which is kind of odd because they're going to have to discard 2 of their 3 cards at random. But, well, they do, and they discard 2 of them. And they draw 1 for the turn, so they have 2 cards in their hand now. I'll block with the rats. One of them is a Treetop Village. Okay, so now I've got 2 problems. But now I've got 1 problem. So I can pox away the worm. I'll go to 6, but I can block the village next turn with Factory, and they're at 8 and 0 cards in hand with a rack. So they're actually just dead to my Factory. So they're going to have to hold their Treetop Village back, I suppose, unless they draw, I don't know, a Smother or something good. Let's see. No, opponent takes a draw, passes, and then concedes. That's pretty good. Definitely interested in Smother and Spinning Darkness. Those are great against Treetop Village. And I'm thinking about what to side out because I also want to bring in some number of dystopias. They don't have Sylvan Library or Oath of Druids or anything like that, but dystopia is still good at handling any green creatures, and they have a lot of those. I'll take out Rats, Curse Scroll, and some therapies. Therapy is not essential in this matchup. There's nothing I need to discard because we can handle most of their threats on the board. So that's something you can definitely consider when thinking about when to side out discard against primarily creature-based decks, especially the creatures that just die to removal, like goblins or the rock creatures. Then Cabal Therapy, less necessary. They have a Cabal Therapy. Hope they don't name Duress, which they might have, I feel like. But they named Dark Ritual, another card I don't play. And now we're certainly going to Duress, make sure they don't catch us with two of those in our hand. Just to call the herd, but that's pretty fine. That'll come back later. Hopefully we can draw a Furnace before then. They don't have the 4 mana, right now anyways. Probably. They'll find it. Wall Blossom's kind of annoying. Does make this Innocent Blood less effective. So I could play the rats here, but then when am I going to play this blood? I could just play the blood now. Get through this Wall of Blossoms, and then later it'll be, I don't know. At least I'm not killing my own rats with the blood, is what I'm saying. Unfortunately, they have another one. Super annoying, really. But in this call, this Tempting Worm is still there. Of course, we can put in Dystopia, so we're not too worried about the worm. I'm going to go ahead and Duress here. They've got a lot of cards in their hand I haven't seen, and the rats isn't doing much on the battlefield at the moment. Duress finds a Naturalize, and okay, they're going to go activate Treetop Village. I clicked through here a little too fast. I forgot that Spinning Darkness was active. And so now I'm thinking, do I do it now or just kind of wait for next turn and see if I can get them again? But might as well just do it now, I think. I can kill the village right now. Can't say that next turn, so let's just do it. All right, we'll play the rats. Rats probably gets this waste or whatever they drew, but it's going to be the waste. But they're still, I'm still keeping them off 4 mana for that Call of the Herd. That's something. We still haven't drawn a third land. I'm going to have to draw one of those eventually. They flashback Therapy. They've seen my hand, so they know about Dystopia. They named Dystopia. That's fine, because now they have to do this before they can play the worm, so now they're free to play the worm, which I guess they will do. And they just saw my hand, so they know I've got no removal for the worm. I could put in Bottomless Pit, but I like my hand, especially the Pox. The Pox is kind of my answer for worm right now. So putting in Bottomless Pit when I can't really cast my spells is not great, especially what if I don't draw a land, like right now? What if I draw like another thing I can't cast? So I'm not going to do it. I think the Bottomless Pit actually hurts me more. Oh, okay. There's an Innocent Blood. That's a great top deck. I mean, land would have been good too, but if it's not going to be land, then absolutely, that's the best thing I could have top decked. Attack, why not? Maybe they wouldn't block, you never know. Worth a try. Okay, they've got 2 cards, 1 card in their hand. They're going to cast, the Call of the Herd, coming back now. Okay, they got an Elephant. Factory can technically block an Elephant. Okay, Funeral Charm. Well, they have 1 card in their hand, so I think it's going to be gone. Still have to deal with this Elephant long term, but I'm at 20 life. Elephant, I can take a few Elephant punches. Let's get this card. See what it is. Just a swamp, fine. I just need to draw a few swamps myself, and then we'll be back in this. Another worm. Uh-oh. Okay. This is starting to look a little bit dicey. Okay, swamp is good. Finally, we get a swamp. Still not going to play the pit because we need to draw another swamp. Factory can block Elephant this turn, and then we draw 1 more swamp, and we box. Okay, they see the factory play, so they're just attacking with the worm. Fine. The rack, not bad. I mean, they have 1 card in their hand. They're at 12, so the rack will do a significant amount of damage, especially if I can cast this Pox. But at least I have Duress as well. I can't play Duress this turn because I still need to hold up Factory to block the Elephant. They're still on plan Worm. Smother's great. Smother disrupts this whole thing. Hopefully they just attack with the Worm again and I can smother it. And then I can Pox the Elephant. Oh, okay. They're attacking with the Elephant this time. That's kind of annoying. Actually, I probably could have cast Duress there. There's no reason to hold up 3 mana, because even if I was bluffing the Factory, I still only need 2 mana for that. So that was, yep, should have cast the Duress there. But Smother still works. And top deck the Swamp for the Pox. They had Naturalize for my Rack. Unfortunate, because that was kind of my win condition. But their board is empty. They'll have 1 card in their hand. And if it was like a threat they could have played, they would have played it last turn. So I imagine it's just some removal or a land. Well, either way, we're going to sacrifice some swamps. All right, there are 5, and we have a factory. Not too bad, not great. If they have another, like, Call of the Herd here, it could be very bad. But otherwise, if they have nothing, I think we can win. All right, they had nothing, so that's pretty good. I'm going to go for the attack here. They have 1 mystery card. Could be a Naturalize, but I want to get some damage in while the damage is good. Oh no, they have something. What costs 3 mana with like an X? Skeletal Scrying. Okay, Skeletal Scrying kind of makes sense. So they can do it for 2 and they go to 1. Okay, I'm very happy I attacked with the factory. But now, well, just a Furnace, and if they had like anything, they would not be casting Furnace. So this is good. Ooh, perfect. We drew the Swamp. We can check their hand with Duress for Smother or Edict. Perfect. Get rid of that. And GG's. Round 2. So sorry. Forgot to record game 1. Still new at this. Please bear with me. But let me tell you, it was a good game. We won it easily. They're on Cephalid Breakfast, like the Cephalid Illusionist, Nomads, and Core combo. And they also have Hermit Druid, so definitely a graveyard strategy. Didn't get to see their graveyard because they didn't go off. We just had creature removal, so they could never combo. That's fine. So game 2, we're bringing in our Graveyard Hate and a Smother because they're a graveyard combo that needs creatures to work, and Engineer Plague also just shuts the combo down. So we'll bring in those 6 cards, and we're going to side out some Bottomless Pits, some Skittering Scourges, because I want to play more of a control role, less aggro. And we don't need Pox, I think, because Pox, I don't know. I imagine we're going to control the creatures with our other removal. So it's still nice to have 2, but just not 100% necessary. So again, sorry I lost game 1. It was over super fast, and let's hope for the same thing for game 2. Here we go. Round 2, game 2 versus DB Durdles. Is this the Eternal Durdles podcast? I like them. This hand's fine. Curse Scroll, pretty relevant against their creatures. We just got to get to 3 mana, but I think the Smother can help us get there. Unless they Duress the Smother out of our hand, then could be difficult. Which they do. We draw Engineer Plague, also good at 3 mana, but if they have, if they have the combo right now, it's going to be too slow. And they do have at least half of it. There's the Illusionist. So if they play the Nomads and Core, then they win. Well, we can Duress. That can at least slow them down. Okay, they have the Nomads. So I didn't get to see the combo game 1, so let's see how it works. They have Terravore. We also didn't see Terravore game 1. That's interesting. I mean, I guess if you mill your whole library, Terravore is pretty big. That's not the combo, though, is it? I thought they'd have like a way to win the game. Huh. Maybe that is the combo. Well, I don't know, but I'll play Plague. I'm going to have to deal with this Terravore, though. Okay, yeah, here they go. They are milling a bunch of cards here. Unfortunately, they have to click the order of all of them. Welcome to the joys of playing premodern. Okay, they mill all but 15 cards of their library. So, okay, they have a Dragon Breath for reanimating something big. But they don't have the big thing. Wonder why they stopped at 15. Maybe it's in their hand or something? Alright, well, we named the wizard, so that gets rid of that half of the combo. I don't think it really matters which half we name, I assume. Well, maybe it's better to kill the nomads, because when you target the other one, it mills them. And I don't know, just in case we ever get into a situation where they'll be decking. Okay, but here we can see the whole plan is they can play a gigantic Terravore. And it's going to be a little difficult for me to deal with it as well, because even if we draw Innocent Blood, they do have another creature. But it's only an 11/11, so we have a turn to figure it out. They therapy us. But they flash back the therapy, so that's really good, because now if we draw the Pox or Innocent Blood, and there it is. Okay, so that was a bit lucky. I've walked into that one, and now they can't combo again, but I guess they don't need to combo again. It's just they just need to draw another Terravore or a Reanimate or something. Well, they draw a Birds of Paradise, which is fine. I can scroll that if I need to. Oh, Crypt. Okay. I doubt they'll be able to come back from a Crypt at this point, right? They have 13 cards left in their library and 0 cards in their hand. They could flashback. No, the Corrosion takes 2 mana. So, yeah, I think I'll just crack the Crypt now just to make sure. But, make sure they discard a card first. But they concede. GG. Round 3, we're 2-0. This is fun. And this time, got the whole round for you. Lands and spells. Good enough. We can't cast the Scourge or the Pox, but Cabal Therapy and Ravenous Rats is an excellent way to start your day. If they play a Plains, then we can Therapy for Swords to Plowshares. They could be on a lot of decks, but they all play Swords, so I think in the blind, that's what you name. Should have named Seal of Cleansing, and Seal of Cleansing is very relevant versus us as well, so that would have been so much better, and especially because they can play one now, so oh well. I'm going to name the next best thing, which is Attunement. Attunement is also a huge problem because, and they drew a second one. Okay, never mind. Not going to complain. Got my 2-for-1 off the Cabal Therapy. But Attunement is really good. It's probably the most important spell in this matchup because drawing 4 cards means they can just rip through their deck and find the Replenish anytime they need to. So you can't really control their hand if they have Attunement in play. It just doesn't work. So happy to get rid of it. And they're down to 3 cards in hand, and they only have 2 lands. So, I mean, obviously they're going to be trying to draw Replenish at some point. And I'm just going to get this Intuition out of here before they draw the 3rd land. Also because I'm going to play Funeral Charm, and just now they have no hand and only 2 lands. Next turn I can play the Scourge, probably. I could play Pox, though, because then they'll have to discard their last card and sacrifice one of their only lands. Maybe it depends if they draw land. Yeah, I think Pox is pretty tempting here. Now they're down to 0 cards in hand and 1 land. And now I can just use Scourge and Factory to try to end the game as fast as possible. I do have to sacrifice 2 lands. Yeah, so I have to sacrifice the Factory because I just want to play Scourge. Also Factory is not great considering they have 2 Seal of Cleansings in play. Okay, they're at 13. Can Scourge win the game before they draw anything relevant? Alright, well, like I just said, Factory is no good here, and it's not. But it's still, like, a reasonable draw. Probably better than Swamp, is what I'm saying. Wasteland would be probably the best draw. The Rack, almost good. I mean, they have 2 cards in their hand, so they'll take 1 extra damage, which does change the clock, unless they just kill it with Seal of Cleansing, which they might do. I might attack with Factory here just to make them use the Seal of Cleansing, but I don't, because I have other relevant 3-drops in my deck. Okay, this is a good place for a Duress, because if they have a Swords, this is when you want to grab it. They don't really care about any of these. I only care about Swords and at some point replenish, depending on how long this game goes. I can always activate Factory and flashback Cabal Therapy. Please note. Because I draw the third land, I think it's time to start attacking with Factory. They will obviously just kill it here, but now any future factories or Curse Scroll or Rack or anything I draw is relevant. Rats is just fine. Well, oh my goodness, I almost play it. It would be fine, except have you read Skittering Scourge? It has text, and it's not pretty text. So don't play the rats there, but that's okay. That's Scourge alone, good enough for game one. I'm actually working on a sideboard guide for this one, so I'm making sure I do this right. Dystopia, you can bring in. Dystopia is surprisingly not super effective in this matchup. They have a lot of ways around it, but it's still, it's still good enough to bring in. You also have a lot of things you want to side out. Side out Smother for sure. Innocent Blood you can side out. You do want to be at least a little bit careful because they can bring in Angels, Exalted Angel, but you still have Pox to deal with it, and Cabal Therapy can deal with it. So I'm okay with siding out the Bloods now. If they do bring in Exalted Angel, you can adjust for game 3. Otherwise, you definitely want your Graveyard Hate, and probably Dystopia is good enough because sometimes they do run out their enchantments early. I should say Dystopia, not great because when they bring back all their enchantments, they're usually winning on like that turn or the next turn, but also they usually bring back Opalescence and Parallax Wave, and Opalescence turns Dystopia itself into a creature, so they just exile it. Alright, well, we keep this hand. It's got Therapy, and it's got 2 racks and the bottom spit, so as long as we can keep them from doing their thing, I'll blind name Attunement because, like I said, that's the thing that I'm most scared of. Obviously Replenish, you want to knock those out of their hands too, but that can come later. See, they have Ancient Tomb, so they can play a turn 2 Attunement. So very happy I got one there. And here, I don't know why they're fetching. They're going to main phase Intuition. Oh, they drew another Entombment. Well, that's annoying. Well, let's see how good it is for them. I said it was very good. So we could play Rats, or we could duress the Intuition now. But I think it's fine to play Rats because if they Intuition, we will know what they have, and we can just duress that, or Flashback Therapy. Probably they'll Swords the Rats, but... Oh, so I could actually just Flashback the Therapy now. Yeah, I think that's best, considering we know they have Swords to Plowshares. I don't know why they discarded Opalescence, but that's okay, actually. Alright, so we just get the Intuition. Alright, their hand is not good, but like I said, they have Attunement, so their hand really could be anything. They could just go for it now, and if they find a Replenish, then it might be difficult for us to win. Especially, they're going to discard other enchantments as well. They discard another Opalescence and a bunch of nothing else. So now if they're Replenished, they'll have... but if they had Replenished, they probably would have discarded the Attunement itself. So, okay. They have 1 card in their hand. I know it's Swords. So I'll just play the Racks now. That's a pretty aggressive clock. They're going to take 4 damage here, and next turn I can, with Rats and Duress, probably make sure it's 6 damage. So they're going to lose quickly, but of course they can simply find Replenish and some number of Sealed Cleansings. So it's not a good position to be in. They're also going to have to tap their Ancient Tomb. Okay, so, and they discarded a bunch of enchantments. Here would be the perfect time for Replenish. I guess they just still haven't found it. Pretty lucky. Again, we still know Swords is in their hand. They have 1 card, so we can play Rats or Duress. It's kind of the same. Play the Rats. They're going to go to 3, and they're going to have to tap this Ancient Tomb. Put them at 1, so they're going to have to find exactly Replenish and 2 disenchants. What do you call them? Seal of Cleansings. And here they go. They could do it. They have outs. Opponent says incredible in the chat. I guess that means they didn't find them. Now, they did have Exalted Angel, and they scoop it up. Easy 2-0 versus Replenish. Well, easy, but we got a little lucky there, for sure. They had like, 3 attunements? But not good enough. Round 4. Sorry, missed the die roll, but we won it. Versus Il Levelatore. I recognize this name. I feel like I've played them a lot. But we have a duress, so, we don't need to look up deck lists. We can just look at their hand. Okay, looks like Standstill. Oh, this is going to be a long one. Well, Fact or Fiction is the worst thing in the world, but we can grab that with Cabal Therapy. So let's take the Impulse for now. Also, because we have Therapy, I'm going to cook some pork tenderloin for dinner tonight. Came out pretty well. But the Impulse can like really change their hand in a way that's not great with Cabal Therapy. And it can probably find them whatever they need. So I think it's fine to take the Impulse and just make sure you grab the Fact or Fiction before they get the 4 mana. Now, they're probably going to counter Cabal Therapy, but that's okay. It's got Flashback and we have lots of rats. So they discard the Disenchant to the first rat, which is pretty good because, that's a very relevant card, so happy to get that. And then they prohibit the second rat. And then, of course, they find a Standstill. So we're going to have to break this Standstill. And might as well do it now. Maybe we can grab 2 of them, who knows? And we can also flash it back. So in terms of Standstills, not the worst. Well, just the one Fact or Fiction. They have some good stuff, but nothing crazy. The Wrath and the Humility are pretty dead versus us, and they have 2 lands. So the only thing we have to worry about is this Decree of Justice. And the question is, do you take it now before they can get any value, or wait a little bit? I'm going to wait at least 1 turn, especially because they have a Coastal Tower in their hand, so they're likely to play that. So should be fine to flashback Cabal Therapy next turn. You wait 1 turn, gets you a little bit more information. Slight odds of hitting 2 of them. Alright, they do play the Coastal Tower, and they get in with the Conclave, which is fine. Factory's a great draw. So now, I'm just going to go ahead and jam this Pit. I would like to not discard the Scourge, but I don't think it's worth waiting a turn, because they're tapped out now. This is a deck full of counterspells, and Pit plus the Rack is very real, and it can play through Standstill. So this is where we want to be. I suppose they have 5 cards in their hand right now, so if they threw down a Standstill, well, 5 is going to become 4. I definitely want to get this Decree of Justice before they can make 1 or 2 tokens. Like 2, even just 2 1/1 tokens is, you can lose the game to that. Innocent Blood, not great versus a pile of tokens. So they're gonna have to find Standstill like this turn. And now, all their creature removal, all their counterspells, these are all just dead draws. And they will all be fed to the Pit. If we can get this Scourge down, that'll be great, because I'm sure it'll eat the swords, but it's kind of like a discard spell. Just get them closer to 0 cards in their hand faster. Play the Scourge, but they use a counterspell instead of the swords. I guess that makes sense, because the swords can hit the factory. I'm actually thinking right now if I should be attacking with the factory. Obviously, they'll just swords it, but I'm just also trying to get them down to low hand size as fast as possible. So basically, I'd be sacrificing a factory so they discard a card. Well, I'm not doing it yet, because also they can just discard the swords to the bottomless pit, which they do, which will kind of turn on factory in a different way, but it's good to have them. Okay, well, they are going to be down to 0 cards, but we lost the rack. And we have been drawing straight swamps for quite some time. Just, it'd be nice to get a spell every once in a while. But now we're both in top deck mode. Alright, well, they top deck a Standstill, of course, and we just top deck Swamps. If that's the way it's going to be, we're going to lose this game. But, we do have the Pit, so they cannot accumulate cards if we do pop this Standstill, which I suppose I will if I draw a decent spell. Then, no, they're going to have to discard at least one of them, maybe more. We draw a Smother. Okay, well, I'm going to try to make the most of it. I'll attack with Factory. I suppose they'll try to block with Conclave. I wish they were tapped out a little bit more, so I could be sure the Smother resolved, but I'll go for it. So they get to draw 3 cards. They might draw a Counterspell. They draw something. Okay, they just draw removal for my Factory. Fine. Then the Smother resolves. That part's good. They discard a card to Bottomless Pit. That part's also good. They discard Dust Bowl, which is pretty good. I mean, Dust Bowl is important, but they get to keep a Factory. That's also good for them, I mean. But I draw Scourge. That's great. Anything I can play. I'm looking for Rack, Curse Scroll, Creatures. These are all great top decks. And their last card was another Dust Bowl. Well, I mean, Dust Bowl is important because if we ever draw Factories, we do want to keep them around. In older versions of this deck, I had 4 Wastelands. And at least once, I was able to win the game through a Standstill. Well, maybe I didn't win, but I forced them to break their own Standstill because I just drew lots of Factories and Wastelands, and it worked out. This version only runs 2 Wasteland, so that's much less likely to happen. And of course, they have Decree of Justice as well. Alright, they have an active Conclave, so I could try to attack. But they have 0 cards in their hand, so because they're at lower life than me, I kind of want to get in a position where I can be attacking them. So I'm going to wait and see if I can draw a Wasteland or a removal spell, like a Smother. Instead, they find a Standstill. I mean, it's hard to win through this relentless card advantage. But they do tap down. That part's good. And if they attack, I could Smother. It's less good now. I wish I had it when they were trying to block with Conclave. Because they have the Standstill, and I'm gonna have to break it, kind of no matter what. I'm just gonna do it now when I have a relevant spell. Alright, they have 4 cards in their hand and only 3 mana. So my thinking is they're gonna have to discard at least 2 of these. This is a good turn to draw a Swamp. Do I attack? No, same logic, because I'm sure they have a counterspell, so if I drew something relevant, they would just counter it. Okay, they discard 2 lands, and they play a land. Alright, they get him with a Factory. I draw another land, say go. They discard the remainder of their hand, get him with another Factory. I mean, I just have to draw removal for this Conclave, and then I'll be fine. Again, Curse Scroll or the Rack would be amazing. Okay, this is removal for the Conclave. This is what I was waiting for. Alright, they activate. Before blocks, I Funeral Charm the Conclave. This is perfect. This is the exact angle we've been playing for. They have 0 cards in their hand. They're in top deck mode. I wish they were at 3 instead of 4, right? They can attack with their Factories. We draw Duress. That's nothing. Okay, they go to 1. This is it. This is the turn. And they're tapping their Factories for mana. That's not good. They're doing something. Fact or fiction? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, okay, this should be fine. They're at 1. They can't use these fetch lands. 4 mana is not enough to cast either Decree of Justice or, I mean, it's enough to cast Fact or Fiction, but then they can't win. Okay, good. We got game 1. Excellent. That was close. Yeah, that was pretty lucky. There's a lot of effective fictions there that we lose to, I think. Okay, sideboard, we can side in the plagues. The plagues are good versus the fairy conclaves and the soldier tokens. And the plague spitters are also good against both. Innocent bloods are pretty terrible. And we didn't see any AKs or any graveyard stuff, so I'm okay to side out the furnaces. You do have to consider Exalted Angel. They can bring that in, but until I see it, I don't really want to play around it. And we have other things like the Poxes and the Smother can hit the front half and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about also spinning Darkness. I mean, it hits the manlands, but I want to keep all the discard in. I want to keep the Funeral Charms in. The Curse Scrolls, the Racks are all good. The Ravenous Rats are great. Skittering Scourge might be cuttable, but that's just another thing that hits hard. And you kind of need to, like, obviously we're the aggro deck in this matchup, right? We're the beatdown. So something to keep in mind when you're making these kind of sideboard decisions. All right, reasonable hand. We have Duress and Cabal Therapy together. That's always great. And actually, Rats is one of the better cards in this matchup because it's difficult for them to justify spending their only counterspell on it. And it just sits in play and attacks every turn, and they have, very little to interact with it. We're going to take Prohibit off that Duress because they're going to have 2 mana now, and I don't want them to counter the Rats. Maybe they'll discard the Annul. Who knows? They discard Disenchant game 1. Yeah, Annul. I think Annul is very good. I mean, we have so many artifacts and enchantments. The Drew Powder Keg, kind of annoying. But, like, what are they going to do? Keg on 1 or 2? Like, the thing about Powder Keg is it's going to hit something no matter what. So, either I play the Rats this turn or I play the Rack, but I'm going to play one of them. Ooh, they have Exalted Angel in their hand. Okay. Well, that is something to worry about. And in fact, it's something I'm going to have to grab this turn, Flashback Cabal Therapy. So, yeah, definitely I'm sacking this Rats for Therapy. After attack, of course. But do I play the Rack or the Rats? The Rack, they can blow it up immediately. But I think they're going to anyways. Probably. I don't think they're going to get the Powder Keg to 2. And I don't think the Rack from this position is going to carry the game. Like, they're going to have 1 card in their hand, which is good for now, but they're just going to hold cards in their hand. This is the kind of deck that would like to do that. It's also the kind of deck that has lots of card advantage. So I'm probably going to play the Rack, and I don't mind if they just immediately blow it up with Powder Keg. Okay, attack with the Rats, play the Rack, and flash back the Cabal Therapy to get the Exalted Angel, because I don't have removal for that right now. If I had, like a Pox, I probably would just leave it, maybe? I'm not sure, actually. Because, Pox would also kill my Rats, and, well, etc. Okay, Plague Spitter I think is a good draw. And I'm going to play Rats first, because they only have 1 card in their hand. But Plague Spitter will kill my own Rats, is something to consider. Okay. The last card is Decree of Justice, which is fine. I'm happy to get that. It cycles, but then we'll just discard whatever they draw. So I guess this 1/1 will end up blocking the Rats, and then I'll play Plague Spitter. And Plague Spitter's 3 damage per turn. If they don't draw swords, like, there's a lot of cards they could draw, lands, standstill, counterspells, that don't answer the Plague Spitter. Yeah, I'm fine with attacking here because definitely want to play Plague Spitter this turn. And this could be the thing that ends the game right here. Get the Plague down. We're going to name Soldier, just in case they have another Decree of Justice. This is a play I'm doing, by the way, because we are winning with Plague Spitter. if this was just a draw go situation, you often want to hold your engineered plagues because they play disenchants, so they will simply hold their decree of justice until they find a disenchant, and then your plague will never actually be killing soldiers. So what you want to do is wait until after they cycle it and use your plague as like a wrath. That's in those situations. But now this plague spitter is going the distance. They're at 6. 2 more turns. 2 turns, and we just need to fade swords. Oh, they drew a factory. We do have a smother, but it's a little bit risky because they could easily have a counterspell. But here's the thing about Plague Spitter. Plague Spitter still deals 1 damage, even if it's not attacking. So I'm going to wait, see if I can draw a Duress or something. And hopefully, even if I don't, the Plague Spitter will still be winning the game. Unfortunately, opponent drew Impulse, which found Swords. So that plan is not happening. And in the meantime, we've drawn 2 Swamps. Not great. Not great at all. In fact, if you look, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, we have 7 non-land permanents. We've drawn more than 50% of our draws have been lands. Unfortunate. All right, they've got their factory. I'll go ahead and try the smother. They might have a counterspell, but it's not so high stakes now. Oh my god, they have Teferi's Response. I wasn't thinking about that. That is the worst thing. But Plague Spitter is the best thing. I mean, they did just draw 2 cards, so they might very well have something. But if they don't, we're right back in it. Well, they had a counterspell. Alright, not great, but we have lots of time. The other plague I forgot to mention is on Fairy for the Conclave. And no, they found their Exalted Angel, and we just keep drawing swamps. Well, that's how it is sometimes. Opponent attacks, does not flip the Angel. Not sure why, but if all we can draw is swamps, then not much we can do about it. Okay, here they flip the Angel. Oh, I think I see why. Well, I'd have to go back and watch the tape to check, but I assume they didn't have enough mana to flip the Angel and activate Factory twice. Once on their turn so they can attack, and once on our turn so they can dodge a Edict. Well, we drew the Cursed Scroll, which would have been really good a few turns ago before the Angel Standstill thing happened, but now it's just too late. Even if it resolves, it won't affect the game. Opponent probably has a counterspell, but there's no reason to waste it on a scroll. Well, we were close. I think we did the right thing. We had the Plague Spitter going, and if we had drawn this Cursed Scroll a little bit earlier instead of one of these swamps or one of these extra plagues, then this game and match would have been ours, but instead we're on to game 3. Well, never give up if you have Pox in your deck. I'll play it. I don't think it's going to... Even if it resolves, I think we're still losing this game, but I'll play it. But of course, opponent has drawn a zillion cards, so they can just prohibit it. Angel attacks, and we go to 0. It's okay, on to game 3. Before we start game 3, I'm going to cut a Spinning Darkness and a Funeral Charm for 2 Innocent Blood, because they do have Angel, and I just want to be a little less dead to Angel. We got lands and spells, so I'll keep. Not the best hand, though. I wish one of these Smothers was a Duress or something. We're going to want to try to get this Bottomless Pit in play. Oh, the Rack makes that even better. I'll play it now. They could have a Null, but otherwise it's fine. Another strength of this hand is it has Factory and Wasteland, so we can get pretty far into a Standstill. It's just nice when they can't, or it's less likely that they're going to play a turn 2 Standstill. I don't want to just run Bottomless Pit into a counterspell. I think Bottomless Pit resolving is a way I could win this game. So I'd rather just attack with the Factory. Now, of course, they could have swords, which they did, but that's also just not the end of the world. So I'm thinking about how I can get this Bottomless Pit into play, which is why I'm not just playing it now because I think they'll probably have a counterspell. I could draw a Duress. I could draw any other spell they might want to counter and double spell. But another thing that you can do sometimes is use the Wasteland. If they keep up 2 mana for a counterspell, if one of those lands is this Adhikar Waste, then you can play Wasteland, surprise Wasteland, and then all of a sudden they have less mana for counter magic than they thought. So that's an option. It doesn't, well, the surprise part of the Wasteland doesn't really work out because I want to keep hitting my land drops. And I'm going to play this Rats. Wish I had, like I said, the extra mana to double spell, but that's okay. They might not counter this Rats anyways. Alright, they don't. They probably just have one counter spell, so they're saving it for something important. But this is good. Like I said, Rats, it's just nice to be attacking at least for one every turn. The damage can add up because these games go long. Yeah, here they find a Standstill. I mean, this is the part of this matchup which is a little bit rough. Because even though they are like losing on board, they're still gonna win in the long run because they're gonna draw a Decree of Justice and they've got so many more manlands than we have. So I mean, I'm not going to just run my Bottomless Pit into a counterspell, same as last turn, but this time even more so because of Standstill. Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, if we just draw Factory, 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 we might, get there. The Powder Keg went up to 2, so it can take out the Rats. I mean, fine. As long as this Factory's going, I guess I might as well. Ooh, Curse Scroll. Curse Scroll's good. It's definitely something that's relevant in this matchup, so it's a candidate for a double spell with the Bottomless Pit. Opponent clearly has nothing yet. They would certainly cycle this Decree if they had one, so I'm hoping we can just top deck better than them, and especially if we keep hitting our land drops. I have no incentive on breaking this Standstill, but I did find a Factory. So now I have to make a choice. I can technically attack the Factory this turn. They might block anyways, or I can just break the Standstill now. I'm going to have to break the Standstill eventually, so it's just a question of now or wait. And usually the longer you wait, the worse off things are. So I'll just go for it now. And I'll do my double spell thing, but likely they can counter both. But next turn I can play 2 Rats, and that's really not bad. And I've got Smother for this Factory. Pox is always okay. That'll come in handy. As long as we're not up against a Standstill, then, if I can play my spells, I think we have a solid chance here. See, that's fine. Let's see, counting their lands here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so next turn I can Pox, maybe? Or do I attack with Factory first and try to smother their Factory? Disenchant for the Rat. Kind of annoying. They're also on 4 minutes, so could come down to time. I was doing my best to play fast. I always do in these grindy matchups. I don't like to lose to the clock, and I don't mind winning with the clock. So I'll activate Factory because we have Smother here. Because we lost, bother. But if you smother the Smother, smother the Factory, the Teferi's Response will fizzle here. So they don't get to draw the cards. That's nice. Alright, they're down to 1 card. And we draw a Factory. Very good. We lost the Rack, so this Pox is no longer like a win condition. But it's good to have it in case they draw Angel or... Well, here you go. Decree of Justice. Well, this is bad. 4 tokens. I mean, we can kill 2 of them, maybe 3 of them, with these things in our hand. Okay, well, activate Factory. Seems like they probably have something here, but they're gonna have it no matter what, so might as well make them use it now. And their last card. Their last card is another Standstill. Oh my god. Okay. Play Blood. Probably should have played Pox first, but I assume they're going to counter the Pox no matter what. But they don't. Okay, so should have played the Pox first. Could have gotten one more token. They sacrificed the Conclave. That's odd. They draw a Factory, or they had one already. And Swamp, not what we need. And they have a Factor Fiction. Four good spells in a land. Oh my god. Well, we had a very real chance of winning this game, I think. But now that chance is gone. And another Swamp certainly wasn't going to help. They attack us the 4, and we draw the 3rd Swamp. And this is the last turn. They activate the factories, and they attack. Pretty close. I think all 3 games were very close. Very grindy. And, in the end, the blue deck with the card selection and the card draw was able to come out on top. Not exactly surprising, but I think we could have won. Round 5, playing for the 4-1. Quite a good record if we grab it. And we're up against Il Lavitor. Again. Back to back, same guy, presumably the same deck, Standstill. Well, and I go back here just to double check. That's him, all right. And with the turn 1 Fairy Conclave. We didn't win last time, but this is our revenge. We learned some lessons, and we kept a good hand for it. We have the Funeral Charm for the Conclave. Curse Scroll is great because, this game's going to go long and grindy, so having a repeatable source of damage that can work through Standstill, can kill all their manlands, seems very good. And we have a Factory, and we have a Wasteland. So I'm thinking, hey, can we do it? Can we make them break their own Standstill? This is pretty good. We can attack with Factory here. We could Wasteland their Conclave right now, but we have the Funeral Charm for the Conclave. I mean, not that we want to cast it, but we can. It's an option. And the Conclave doesn't trade very well with the Factory. Or I should say, our opponent's Factory is more important. So we could save it for that. However, I just want to, and it's, turn 4. Okay, I just want to make sure they have as few options as possible. I'm kind of trying to go aggro here. So Wasteland the Factory, Wasteland the Conclave is fine. And they miss a land drop, which is very important because one of the cards they might have in their hand is Decree of Justice. So if they're not hitting their land drops, and especially if we are, then this is fine. They did hit their land drops, but we found a second Factory. It's happening. It's happening. They're gonna, look, they're at 13. They're taking 4 a turn. They're gonna have to break their own Standstill. This is worth it after losing last round. Opponent with the land go. All right, let's try our best to get in with these factories. I almost think about just attacking with 1 because if they do break their Standstill, we're going to have to just discard the hand size. So if we had a little extra mana to actually play our spells, it would work out better for us. Well, they're making a move, and I really thought they were going to have to break the Standstill. But they cycle Decree instead, which is fine. They get 2 tokens. All right, and this might be a little controversial, but look, they're at 8, and I have 2 factories and a Cursed Scroll. So if they go to 2 life, then we could win this thing. They're tapped out. They can't counterspell. So I don't know if they would have to break their own Standstill or not, but I think it's worth it to put them at 6 with 2 factories on board. Right? They had 9 cards in their hand, but they can't use them all. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have Cursed Scroll, but I think it's the right play. All right, now let's make them have answers for both of these factories. But even if they do, next turn, this turn we can't activate Scroll, but next turn we can play the rack, maybe play the pit. Okay, so it's going to be a few turns before we get our hand empty enough. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I want to play my spells this turn to kind of speed up that process. So I'm only attacking with 1. Okay, they got it. But I can play Pit and Rack this turn, and then next turn just start activating Scroll. Oh, okay, I'm going to go with Pox instead. I mean, actually, that's pretty reasonable. It's definitely a must counter, but if it resolves, it would be quite good. And if it doesn't resolve, I still have another one. Rack, Impulse, okay. Like they're at 6. I have a Curse Scroll in play, and I've got 2 must-answer cards in my hand. I think this is pretty good place. Island, go. Pretty simple. This turn we have 5 mana. Could play the rats first, but like as bait, I don't think they would waste a counterspell on the rats. So I'll play Pox. Maybe they don't have a counterspell. This is best case scenario. They don't have a counterspell, but they have something worse. Fact or Fiction. Well, maybe it wouldn't be worse, but this one has Mana Leak, the counterspell, but also Disenchant and Powder Keg. And Powder Keg gets both of these 1-drops, which is pretty rough. So I feel like I have to separate Powder Keg and Mana Leak. And I kind of want them to take the 2-card pile, so they get a Mana Leak and a Disenchant. And that's rough. Like a Mana Leak box, and the Disenchant can clean up whatever the best thing I have is afterwards. But if I get this Rats, it's not nothing. Takes them down to 4 cards. And a 1/1 attacker can really be something when they're at 6 life. Opponent draws a card with the Furnace, so they go to 5 and then 6 cards. It's a lot. Okay, starting off with an Impulse. And a Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl is pretty good for them. Probably going to want to take on my Factory if they have a chance. But at least I'm finally down to 1 card in my hand and 3 mana open. This is Curse Scroll range. The Bottomless Pit, again, I feel like they've got to answer this, but again, they have Fact or Fiction, and again, Fact or Fiction finds a counterspell. So they're going to get counterspell and another card. Maybe it could have been a land. I don't know. But this Decree of Justice, like I'm at 22 life and they're at 6. So I'm kind of thinking this game's not about the 1/1 tokens. But they do take the pile with counterspell. And we have this Curse Scroll, but they do have a Disenchant in their hand. Rats gets them down to 5. Curse Scroll can get them down to 3. It's close. We're getting there. We just got to get over the line. Well, here's our Curse Scroll. And yep, there's the Disenchant. Okay. Duress is always fine. It's going to get something. They cycle for Decree. Wow, they have Swords, but they also have Standstill and Fact or Fiction. This is, on the one hand, kind of close, but I just don't see how I can get through all this card advantage. I attack with both because I have the Smother, so if they just put 2 soldiers on the Factory, I can kill 1. They're only at 3, so this is this is good. I'm still going to do it, still going to kill 1. But now all their soldiers are dead, and I have a Wasteland for the Conclave. But I go for the Dust Bowl. Maybe that was not the best move. I mean, they have a Swords for this Rats anyways. I don't know. Probably doesn't make much of a difference. I suppose if I draw a Factory, I would rather the Dust Bowl be dead. Well, there's a Pox. Imagine if they didn't have this Standstill, right? Pox can put them to 1, but it doesn't even, the rack doesn't even do it. They're going to drop to 5, then they discard 2 cards. They'll still have 3 cards exactly. So even if they don't find a counterspell, they're not dead. I mean, I'm still going to do it. It's still pretty good if it resolves. But they found a counterspell. 2 life to 23. And there's another Standstill. Oh my god, it's just, how do you get through all this? Not easy. Duress is probably the best draw in a way, because now if we draw another Pox, we can duress first, or a bottomless pit, or anything that we just really want to resolve. Duress breaks the standstill, they draw the cards, but then we can force our spell through. That's the plan. Another duress kind of works. Now we can get through 2 counter spells. Swamp, not great. So one top deck, which would be, I don't know, ideal, I suppose, is Curse Scroll, because Curse Scroll can win the game on the spot. But note that we need 1 mana to cast the scroll, 3 mana to activate it, and at this moment, we need 2 mana to play these 2 duresses. And we have exactly enough mana, but then the problem is we won't have another card left in our hand with which to do the scroll thing. So we need 1 more turn, and we do draw exactly the Curse Scroll. Well, this is the last turn. They can attack us for 5, so we play it. We do have a duress, so if they have a counterspell, we got that covered. But the annoying thing is we can't play the second duress. We need to keep it in our hand so we can activate scroll. And even though we have the duress for this annul, it's not good enough. That's rough. Very, very close. 1 more turn, or 1 more card, or 1 less life from our opponent. So many things. But they win the first game. Okay, well, at least we know they have angels coming in. Most likely, I suppose. So we know not to side out all of our bloods. Alright, so it's the same plan as last game. Side out the furnaces, 1 blood, and 1 funeral charm. 1 land. Does have Curse Scroll, which I like, but too many things I can't cast in 2 boxes is a lot. This hand has land, but it's got nothing else happening. Engineered Plague is such a late game card. So is Spitting Darkness, and the rack is not what you want turn 1. You kind of have to set it up first. Okay, 5 cards, not ideal, but this hand is good. I mean, it's got the things I like to work with. Bottomless Pit is a way to win the game, especially if you have fewer resources than your opponent. So, don't know how, but if we can get this pit in play, then we can, then we can start talking. I'm low on lands, so I don't want to risk this factory. I'm not going to attack next turn into swords, so I'm not going to play it. All right, bottomless pit. Maybe it resolves. Ooh, it does. Impulse. Okay. I mean, they could have a disenchant always, but it's in play. They're going to have to discard at least 1 card. The thing about therapy there is they have so many different counterspells that just naming counterspell, they might have mana leak or annul. So if it was a duress, I probably would have duressed first, but it's not a duress. And they run out the morph, because I guess that's how they plan to win this game. But luckily we have Smother. Make sure you do it before you discard. Wow, Curse Scroll. Okay. All of a sudden, this mulligan to 5 is looking great. We have no cards in our hand, but that's where we want to be. That's fine. Powder Keg. Okay, fine. Powder Keg can get our scroll. Unfortunate. Let's get our 1 activation in. Could attack a factory, but they can also Powder Keg the factory. So I suppose this is better. Okay, Powder Keg goes to 1, so they're more interested in taking out the scroll. Alright, they have 4 cards in their hand, and we have 0, so we're not discarding. Swamp is fine. I'm gonna wait a little bit on this factory. Yeah, they find 1 of their own, so I'm gonna wait a long time on this factory, probably. Ooh, another scroll. Don't mind if I do. They might have a counter spell, but that's just gonna speed up them getting to 0 cards in their hand, which is fine. And then everything we top deck might win the game. Factor Fiction. Not great. This factory. Gotta keep this factory away from them. I almost want to do like 1-4, but I think that's crazy. Well, okay. You can take the pile with factory if you want. They don't. Okay, they take the pile with 2 lands and an impulse. Okay, well, we know they have an impulse. So, Ball Therapy, decent. And since we see their hand, we can attack with Factory for a while. Alright, we just got to get through this Factory that they have. And hopefully top deck a little better. Well, they're attacking us, which is suspicious. But I can't just... maybe I could have waited. See, because waiting, if you don't attack, then they can't attack. So waiting's not so bad. Well, we draw a second Factory. That part's good. Okay, yeah, thinking about it in that spot, I think you have to wait. So that's a lesson learned. Now they're activating their Factory, but they have 0 cards in their hand. Oh, my Factory's got Semi-Sickness. So, okay, I have more life than them, so I can play around a little bit here. At this point, I'm going to have to draw something. I will lose if the game goes longer. So I think attacking with Factory here is the correct play. Even though I'm losing this race, I want the race to be competitive as long as possible. So I'd rather we both go down in life, even if I'm going down in life faster. Does that make sense? Because now, if I top deck an answer to this Conclave, we could be doing better. Or something like the Rack. This is absolutely perfect. They go to 9, and they're going to take 3 per turn from the Rack. It's picture perfect. Couldn't ask for a better top deck. All right, the Rack takes them to 6. They're keeping their Factory back. That's good. We even draw an answer to the Conclave, which is nice. All right, they're going to go to 3. This is the last turn they can draw something. They drew an Impulse. Not good. Gives them a lot of options, including a Disenchant. Ah, one more turn. I just wanted one more turn. Well, it's okay. Play out the Reds. Still have a lot of good draws. Fact or Fiction. Good draw for them. Maybe the Impulse is the most dangerous thing here, but I don't want them to have the Dust Bolt either. The Disenchant unlocks their Conclave or kills the Pit and lets them start holding on to all these cards. It's all bad. This is all bad. Alright, they take the Impulse and the Dust Bowl. Reasonable. Scourge. Scourge is alright. It's definitely something that requires a different answer. They Impulse. And they find a counterspell. Okay. That happens. I wish I could use these couple therapies. But like I said, it's just so hard to predict what they might have when they have so many different counterspells. Alright, I'm going to attack here. They can kill my Factory on a block. But here's the thing. They have a Dust Bowl. So this Factory is just not long for the world anyways. Okay, an opponent agrees. So they're actually taking 2. They go down to 1. So Curse Scroll, the Rack, and Pox is now an option. And I still have the Bottomless Pit in play, so it's not like they can just keep counterspells. I just need to draw something. Well, I can activate Factory, but they got the Dust Bowl. Okay, but I have 3 turns, 2 more draws. 2 more draws to draw something that can deal 1 damage. Pretty close. Oh, they're tapping big here. Oh, they have Decree. Okay, Decree for Angels. They're making 2 4/4 Angels. Okay. That'll work. So we get a draw and a Duress. Well, 2 in a row. GG's. All right. Well, 3-2 finish. Not the best, but a little rough playing the same opponent back to back. Blue-white Standstill. I suppose it's not a great matchup. I mean, we won a game at least, and we could have won a match. It got close. Like all the games are close. That's kind of how it is. It's okay. The deck list as a whole seems fine. I really think this is coming together. I like kind of like all the numbers. I think I'll just play this again next week. I hope it doesn't get boring. I don't know what people look for in content if I'm just playing the same 75 week after week. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, certainly let me know if you leave a comment or something. I could switch up decks or try something new, but I don't think I want to get at least another 5-0 before I move on to something else. Um, I'm pretty confident in this list. I think I can do it. I think Sideboard is pretty great. Yeah, 3 Pox, 3 Pit, 2 Scourge. I like all these numbers. I like a mix of Blood and Smothers. I like the Cursed Scrolls and the main deck Furnaces. I like 4 Factories and 2 Wastelands. I wouldn't change anything. So, probably look forward to this next week. But I might start recording some other mono black premodern decks. I don't know. Or I could play like Legacy Pox. I used to play a lot of Legacy Pox. That's fun too. I'm gonna have to do something else eventually. I mean, for my own sake, I'm gonna get bored. But I'm not bored yet, so I'm gonna keep playing it. So subscribe if you like it, and next week there'll be more. Next Friday, more Pox. Here's a little bonus content. I recorded this before for a league that I didn't upload, but we get to do something pretty cool and unique. I've never done it before, so I wanted to show it off. I've sped up the clip double speed, so I'm not going to talk through like every little play. Just please enjoy the show. So we're on a mulligan to 6. We have a fairly aggressive hand, but the rack is not going to be great because opponent's on Moneyball, and they have the Dark Ritual, Phyrexian Arena. And this is what I'm talking about. Have you ever won a game versus their turn 1 Phyrexian Arena? The card advantage is just overwhelming, especially considering what our deck is trying to do. So the fact that we're able to get through this and win is pretty incredible, I think. And they even have Smother for a Scourge. Like, look at the position right now. They're at 19 life. They have 5 cards in their hand, and we have kind of nothing going on. But watch. Opponent has Spectre. We'll use Blood. Get him with Factory. They go to 16. They go to 15. But they're going to be able to keep playing a threat pretty much every turn for the rest of this game. And Lavaborn Muse is a pretty good threat. But we have Pox. And Pox drops them all the way to 9. They'll still have 3 cards in their hand, so the rack, still nothing. And I'm pretty interested in this next box, so we're going to have to sacrifice the Factory here. But it's going to come down to this last Pox. They play another Spectre, and we rip the Swamp. We can Pox them down to 5, and they have to sacrifice another land, and finally they go down to 2 cards in their hand. So the rack is going to be able to deal a little bit of damage, a little bit, but a little bit is enough when they're at 5 because they go to 4 and then 3, and all of a sudden they have 2 turns basically to finish the game. We draw a Curse Scroll, not great, but they're at 2. They can attack us down to 5, but next turn will be their last turn, and we have a blocker even, so they got to get through the Scourge and they got to deal us 5 damage, and that's it. They're 1 life. It's a tall order. They can't do it, and they concede. This is the power of Pox. Double Pox can beat turn 1 Phyrexian Arena. Sometimes, if you get lucky. Games 2 and 3, I do not get so lucky. They actually have turn 1 Phyrexian Arena, both those games, and they win. So they win the match. And then we go on to lose a few more matches, so I don't upload it to YouTube. But I thought I would just stick it on the end here. That was a pretty fun game. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and I'll see you next week.